Hello, this set of notes is about molecular polarity. As always, you'll find a set of notes in Schoology that you can use or you can take your own. Earlier in this unit, we talked about bond dipoles, so that's situations where we have a great enough difference in electronegativity that the covalent bond is polar, as you would see between carbon and oxygen in this particular diagram of carbon dioxide over here. But just because a molecule has polar bonds does not mean the molecule as a whole will be polar. Okay, it depends upon, as we'll see in the next slide, both polarity of the bonds as well as the structure of the molecule. So in this case, I do have a polar bond, right? Carbon to oxygen, and I also have another polar bond in the other direction, carbon to oxygen. Well, those two dipole moments effectively cancel each other out. So even though this has polar bonds, it will not be a polar molecule. All right, so the dipole moment of a molecule, or the molecular polarity, depends both on the polarities of the individual bonds and the geometry of the molecule. So two things have to be true. You have to either have polar bonds or non-bonding electron pairs, and they have to be non-symmetrical in shape and also and structure. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that on the next slide. But if we just look over here, this is water, right? So once again, we have electronegativity difference, which would make this thing polar. And because water has unshared pairs up on the top, it ends up in this bent shape. And so what you end up with, is a situation where the top of this molecule is functionally partially negative, and the bottom of the molecule is functionally partially positive. And so you end up with a dipole that goes in that direction towards the top. This is a polar molecule. Okay, it has polar bonds. It also has non-binding electric poles, and it is not symmetrical in shape, right? Importantly, when we talk about this, we talk about symmetry in all directions, not just in one or two. Right, so if I look at a few different examples here, here's HCl. We have a polar bond between H and Cl, and it's not symmetrical. So this thing is polar. Okay. This is NH3. NH3 has a pair of unshared pair of electrons up here on the top. It also has an electronegativity difference, which makes the nitrogen side partially negative and the hydrogen side partially positive. So all of the partial negativity is at the top. So again, this one is polar because it has polar bonds and it is not symmetrical. CCl4, okay, once again, slightly polar bonds. So we do have dipoles in all those directions, but no matter which way I slice this, it is always symmetrical. All of these dipoles cancel each other out. Same thing over here with BF3. Okay, definitely a polar bond, but the polarity pulls outward in all of them, and so again, this is symmetrical any way, shape that I try to dissect it. So it is non-polar as well. Okay, this one over here is just a little bit more interesting. So I've got carbon and hydrogens. Those are non-polar bonds. So I got lots of non-polarity down here, but I do have a polar bond here between carbon and chlorine. Okay, and that definitely goes in this direction. And this thing is, even though it's tetrahedral, because the top atom is a different species than the atoms that are down here, this thing is not symmetrical. So again, has a polar bond and is not symmetrical. It must be polar. That's it.